You will hear a recording with 4 parts. Each part contains several questions. Read the questions before each part begins. The recording will be played only once. Answer the questions as you listen. You will have a short time to check your answers after each part. Write your answers clearly on the answer sheet. The entire listening test will take approximately 30 minutes. Now, go to Section 1. Section 1. You will hear 2 people discussing a new renewable energy project in their city. You have some time to look at questions 1 to 5.
Hi, Mark. Did you hear about the new renewable energy project that's being implemented in our city?
Oh, you mean the solar energy initiative? Yes, I've heard bits and pieces. Can you tell me more about it?
Sure. The City Council approved a project that aims to install solar panels on 70% of public buildings by 2030. It's part of a broader effort to reduce carbon emissions by 50% within the next decade.
That sounds ambitious. But I'm curious, how are they planning to fund such a large project?
It's being funded through a combination of government grants and private investments. A number of tech companies are involved as well, contributing both financial resources and expertise. In fact, the project is expected to create over 5,000 new jobs in the renewable energy sector.
That's impressive. But I'm wondering, will they only focus on solar energy? What about wind power or other renewable sources?
Solar energy is a primary focus for now, but they are also exploring offshore wind farms.
You have some time to look at questions 6 to 10.
There's a plan to build a large offshore wind facility in the next 5 years, which will help diversify our energy sources.
What's the environmental impact of all this? Will it really make a difference?
Yes, according to the project's report, once the solar panels and wind farms are operational, they will prevent approximately 1.2 million tons of CO2 emissions annually. This reduction in greenhouse gases is expected to improve air quality and reduce the urban heat island effect in our city.
That's a huge difference. I hope other cities will follow this example.
You will have about 30 seconds to check your answers. Section 2. You will hear a monologue about the significance of daily routines in shaping our lives. First, you will have some time to look at questions 11 to 15.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I would like to talk about the significance of daily routines in shaping our lives. You might not realize it, but the way we structure our days has a profound impact on our mental well-being, productivity, and overall satisfaction. Firstly, let's consider the morning routine. Waking up at the same time each day, ideally early in the morning, sets a positive tone. A consistent morning ritual can include activities like stretching or even a simple cup of tea while enjoying the view outside. This moment of calm helps to clear the mind and prepare for the day ahead. After the morning, many people head off to work or school, and this transition period is also crucial. Commuting can be a source of stress, but it can also be used productively. Listening to podcasts or audiobooks can turn an otherwise dull journey into a learning experience. Making the most of this time is a great way to incorporate personal development into our busy lives.
You have some time to look at questions 16 to 20.
Now, let's talk about lunchtime. For many, lunch is more than just a meal. It's a break from the hustle and bustle. Taking the time to enjoy a healthy lunch, perhaps outdoors, can significantly boost our mood. Engaging in light conversation with colleagues or friends can also enhance social bonds, which are vital for our emotional health. As the day progresses, the end-of-work routine becomes essential. Many find it helpful to set aside a few minutes to reflect on their day. What went well? What could be improved? This practice not only fosters a growth mindset, but also helps in setting goals for the next day. Lastly, the evening routine plays a vital role in winding down. Activities such as reading, taking a leisurely walk, or enjoying a family dinner create a sense of closure to the day.
You will have about 30 seconds to check your answers. Section 3. You will hear a conversation between Dr. Sarah, Mark, and Lisa about integrating technology into teaching methods. First, you will have some time to look at questions 21 to 25.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to see you all here for this training session. Today, we'll focus on integrating technology into our teaching methods. Mark, could you start by sharing some insights on how digital tools have been beneficial in your classes?
Certainly, Dr. Sarah. In my experience, using platforms like Google Classroom has streamlined communication with students. It allows for easier assignment submissions and instant feedback, which has significantly improved student engagement.
That sounds interesting, Mark. I've noticed some students struggle with online platforms, though. How do you address their challenges?
That's a great point, Lisa. I often hold one-on-one sessions for those who find the technology overwhelming. Additionally, I provide step-by-step guides and video tutorials to help them navigate the platforms. I've found that personal attention makes a significant difference.
Those are effective strategies. Lisa, have you implemented any technology in your teaching yet?
I've started using interactive quizzes during lectures. It's been beneficial, but I find that not all students participate equally. What would you recommend to encourage more involvement?
Encouraging participation can be tricky. One approach is to integrate gamification elements. For example, using a point system for participation can motivate students to engage more actively.
I agree. Another method I've used is incorporating group activities where students can collaborate on problem solving. This not only fosters teamwork, but also makes the learning experience more enjoyable.
That sounds like a great idea, Mark. How do you usually structure those group activities?
I typically start with small groups of 3 to 4 students. I give them a specific problem to solve and set a time limit. Afterward, each group presents their solution, which encourages accountability and reinforces their understanding.
Excellent approach. Presenting their work can enhance their communication skills as well. Have you noticed any improvements in students' learning outcomes after implementing these activities?
Yes, definitely. I've seen a notable increase in participation and comprehension levels. Students seem more engaged when they can work together and share ideas.
You have some time to look at questions 26 to 30.
That's encouraging to hear, Mark. Do you think these strategies can be applied to larger classes as well?
Absolutely. For larger classes, I suggest using technology to facilitate group interactions. Tools like breakout rooms in Zoom can help create smaller discussion groups, even in a virtual environment.
That's a great point. It's essential to ensure that all students feel included, regardless of class size. How do you handle group dynamics, especially when some students are more dominant than others.
I face that issue too. Sometimes, more assertive students overshadow their quieter peers. Do you have strategies for managing those dynamics?
One technique I use is assigning specific roles within the group. For example, one student might be the note-taker, while another is the presenter. This way, everyone has a defined responsibility, and it encourages participation from all members.
That's a smart approach, Mark. It helps to ensure that everyone has a voice. I've also found that setting clear expectations and guidelines at the beginning of group activities can be beneficial.
That makes sense. What about assessing group work? How do you evaluate each student's contribution fairly?
I usually incorporate peer evaluations into the assessment. Each student provides feedback on their group members, which can offer insight into individual contributions. It also encourages accountability among peers.
That's an excellent method for promoting fairness. It's important to have a balanced approach to assessment. Lisa, are you considering implementing any of these strategies in your own teaching?
Absolutely. I'm excited to try out some of these techniques in my next class. I believe they'll not only enhance student engagement, but also create a more collaborative learning environment.
You will have about 30 seconds to check your answers. Section 4. You will hear a university professor delivering a lecture on the impact of climate change on marine ecosystems. First, you will have some time to look at questions 31 to 35.
Good morning, everyone. Today, we will delve into the significant impact of climate change on marine ecosystems. As you may know, the oceans cover over 70% of the Earth's surface and are vital for supporting a diverse array of life forms. However, the increasing temperatures and rising carbon dioxide levels are altering these ecosystems in profound ways. One of the most immediate effects of climate change is ocean acidification. This occurs when CO2 is absorbed by seawater, leading to a chemical reaction that lowers the pH of the water. This change can be detrimental to marine organisms, particularly those that rely on calcium carbonate for their shells and skeletons, such as corals and certain shellfish. Studies have shown that as the ocean becomes more acidic, the growth rates of these organisms decline, which can disrupt entire food webs. Additionally, warmer ocean temperatures are contributing to the bleaching of coral reefs. When corals are stressed by heat, they expel the symbiotic algae living in their tissues. This not only causes the corals to lose their color, resulting in what we call coral bleaching, but also threatens the biodiversity of the reef.
You have some time to look at questions 36 to 40.
Now, let's discuss the broader implications of these changes. Coral reefs are home to approximately 25% of all marine species, making their health crucial for global biodiversity. However, the shifting distribution of marine species due to rising temperatures is becoming increasingly evident. Many fish species are migrating to cooler waters, often towards the poles. This shift can impact fisheries and the communities that rely on them for their livelihoods. For instance, commercial fish stocks, such as cod and haddock, have been observed moving northward. This can lead to changes in fishing practices and regulations. Fishermen may need to travel further to find their target species, impacting their income and the sustainability of fish populations. Lastly, climate change exacerbates extreme weather events, such as hurricanes and typhoons, which can have devastating effects on coastal ecosystems. The increased frequency and intensity of these storms can lead to habitat destruction and altered sedimentation patterns, further stressing marine habitats. In conclusion, climate change poses a multifaceted threat to marine ecosystems. Understanding these impacts is essential for developing effective conservation strategies and mitigating the damage already done.
You will have about 30 seconds to check your answers.